Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, I'm going to review Dire Crowley from the Twisted Wonderland series. His ability description is start fever time and turns into special Dire Crowley Tsums. The gameplay that you're currently watching right now is a skill level 1 game demonstration. So let's take a look at his stats. In order for you to activate his ability, you're going to need to clear anywhere between 15 to 20 copies of Dire Crowley off their screen. This number will depend on your skill level. The minimum score is 140 with a maximum score of 924. So maximum score is not that amazing, but minimum score is pretty high, but generally you wouldn't care too much about minimum score just because no one really aims to have the lowest level Tsum. Maximum score 924 is not that amazing, but it's unlikely that you're going to be using Dire Crowley strictly for score. If you do want to get Dire Crowley to skill level 6 though, you're only going to need to get a total of 29 copies of him from the premium box, and this is considered on the lower end. So if you don't have a skill level 6 Tsum, Dire Crowley can be an option because he's relatively cheaper to get to skill level 6. So let's take a look at his skill chart. So at skill level 1, which is the game demonstration that you're currently watching right now, you're going to need a total of 20 copies of him to activate the ability, and also the skill range is going to be extra small. But if you're able to get him to skill level 6, you're only going to need a total of 15 copies of him to activate the ability. This will allow you to activate a lot of abilities back to back, but one thing I haven't figured out yet is what is in reference to the skill range. Because Dire Crowley's ability or during the animation, it's going to clear surrounding Tsums, that's already a given. So I'm not too sure what that skill range is really in reference to. So if you guys know what that is in reference to, please let me know in the comments below, or if you have a guess, let me know and I could test it out to see if it's true or not. And by the way guys, if you're enjoying this type of content where I review Tsums, do monthly leaks, and go over these selection boxes and pick up capsules, please consider subscribing to this channel. Your subscription really helps me out a lot. I also have an active Discord server, so if you're interested in chatting with other players who play this game, or if you need help with the game, need hearts or need coins, feel free to ask members in the Discord server to help you out. You can join the Discord server by scanning this QR code on the screen, or use the link in the description down below in this video. Alright, so let's break down all 6 of the skill levels, starting with skill level 1, 2, and 3. So the main thing I want to point out here is the amount of Tsums that's needed to activate his ability. Starting at skill level 1, you're going to need a total of 20, 19 for skill level 2, and then 18 for skill level 3. There's also that skill range, like I mentioned, I haven't figured out what that really means yet, but check back in the comments below, maybe someone else will know already. So alright, let's talk a little bit about strategy when using Dire Crowley. The first thing you should do is you should always use the overcharge effect by spamming the ability button on the bottom left hand corner. Every single copy of Dire Crowley is going to be important in this game, because every single time you activate his ability and you clear a Dire Crowley, it's going to clear surrounding Tsums. And that leads to my second point, is that during the ability time, you want to connect all of the Dire Crowleys on the screen during the ability time, or essentially clear all of the special Dire Crowleys. And you'll be able to see which ones are special or not by looking at their eyeballs, or the eyes I guess. They start squinting, those are considered the special ones. The special ones allow you to connect them from far away, meaning that they don't need to be next to one another for you to connect them. So in theory, you could technically clear the entire screen by clearing Dire Crowleys that are across the entire playfield. So that's why Dire Crowley is very powerful. You don't want to waste any of them. So make sure you're using the overcharge effect and also clearing all of the Dire Crowleys off the screen during the ability time. And also, any Dire Crowleys that you clear off the screen during the ability time will go into your charge up. So that's why when you're using the overcharge effect, you're likely going to get back-to-back abilities, especially during the higher levels. Another tip here is that you might want to have a bubble handy to burst right after you make that long chain. It does skip the animation, so it definitely speeds up the gameplay. But even if you don't, it's not a huge deal because Dire Crowley starts fever time right after the ability, so it's not going to be slow by any means, it just won't be super fast. Okay, so let me show you guys a side-by-side comparison of the abilities activated at the same time. Now, this one is hard to do a side-by-side comparison, so I'm just going to play it through and show you what's actually happening and how you should be thinking of this. So once the animation starts, it's going to highlight where all the Tsums are going to be that you want to connect. And even when you tap them, it's going to glow white. so make sure that you clear all of them at once. I have tried different methods using Dire Crowley, and the most effective one is always connecting the longest chain possible. Some other methods that I've tried is connecting shorter chains during the ability time, shorter Dire Crowley chains to see if that is more effective, but ultimately the best coin earnings is by connecting as long as a chain as possible during the ability time. You really want to try to clear the entire screen as much as possible. Moving on to the higher skill level at skill level 4, 5, and 6. And at these higher skill level, it's going to require less zooms to activate the ability. At skill level 4, it's going to need 17, 16 for skill level 5, and then only 15 at skill level 6. So at skill level 6, you're going to see a lot of back-to-back abilities, especially because I used the overcharge effect. And essentially that's what you want to strive for at the higher skill levels. And you want to clear as many Dire Crowleys as possible during the ability time, and then try to get back into ability time as quickly as possible. Use those bubbles to get yourself back in fever time, because every single time you get yourself back in fever time, you do add additional time to the gameplay. And I've noticed that at these higher skill level, the gameplays are a lot faster and things move a lot quicker. And because it requires so many less zooms to activate the ability, you're going to have a lot more abilities activated per game compared to the lower skill level. So because it activates more abilities per game, it does earn more coins at the higher skill level. Especially if you're able to get more back-to-back abilities per game, you're going to be able to earn a lot more coins than the lower skill levels. Now I do want to share something really interesting with you guys. It's like a little Easter egg. The animation during the ability time is almost identical to the magic mirror. The backdrop is identical, it's the same part of the school from the Twisted Wonderland series. So if you take a look at the gameplay for the magic mirror, you'll notice that the backdrop is exactly the same. At the top of the balcony, Cheshire Cat will come out at the magic mirror. You'll see that exact same balcony here, but no Cheshire the Cat. So it's pretty cool. I thought that was pretty interesting that the backdrop is identical. Well, not, I guess, identical one-to-one, but it's the same place, just one is more zoomed in than the other one. Alright, so let me show you a side-by-side comparison of the abilities activated at the same time. So very similarly, I'm going to just show you the same demonstration like I did for the lower skill level. And this is the part where I mentioned that the animation is the same, or the backdrop is the same. So once you see this part, you want to start thinking about how you want to connect the chains. And look at my skill level 6 there, pretty much the entire screen got cleared off. And that's really what you want to strive for at these higher skill level, is try to clear off the entire screen as much as possible. You want to use the overcharge effect to get yourself back into ability time. You'll see here that I got back-to-back abilities for skill level 6 and skill level 4, and skill level 5 was not too far away as well. You'll see that there's a lot more abilities activated at these higher skill level compared to the lower skill level, and that's by design. Two reasons why is that these higher skill levels require less zooms to activate the ability, and the skill radius has something to do with it. I just haven't figured out what it is. I'm noticing that at skill level 6 that the clear radius is bursting a little bit more than what it's also touching. So if there's a little bit of crevice that's also touching that second row, it's going to connect a little bit more than just the exact surrounding zoom. So my guess is that that's what it has to do with, but I can't confirm for sure because sometimes it clears a little bit more and sometimes it doesn't. So I'm not 100% sure what the skill range is in reference to, and if you know for sure, let me know in the comments down below and let everybody else know, because I don't think it's fully clear on what the skill range is really in reference to. Alright, so let me go over the results for all 6 of these gameplays. At skill level 1, I ended up with 1,359 coins with 3.7 million points. So nothing too exciting there for skill level 1, and honestly, this zoom doesn't get exciting until skill level 4. At skill level 4, you can start using the 5-4 and the coin boost, but getting to skill level 4 means that you're going to need about 8 copies to get them to skill level 4. So maybe not worth it, but I think that if you want Dire Crowley, then you're gonna at least want to get him to skill level 4. And that's probably where I would recommend you to stop there, because skill level 5 wasn't that much of an improvement. It got 2,631 coins with 7 million points. And at skill level 6, it got significantly better. I got 10.7 million points with 3,898 coins. Now keep in mind that Dire Crowley at these game demonstrations were all low levels, so I didn't get them to level 50 yet. So if you get him to level 50, I'm sure that your scores are going to be a lot higher, but from a coin earning perspective, not worth it. So if you're wondering if you're going to be able to use Dire Crowley as a coin earner, probably not here. So I would say skip on Dire Crowley if you're trying to get a coin earner. But Dire Crowley is a really fun sim to use and fun to play with because it's a little bit different. So for a fun factor, I think Dire Crowley is fun, but just not worth for the coin earning purposes. So that's my review of Dire Crowley. I hope you guys found this video helpful or at least entertaining. And if you would like to see more Tsum Tsum content just like this, don't forget to subscribe. And as always, thank you so much for watching.